I remember when we made the first Dawn in 2006, everybody was telling us, oh my God, how can you touch Mr. Bachchan's Dawn and why would you do that again? And it's totally understandable. People have emotional connections to certain things, to certain films, to certain songs, to certain people, and you cannot deny that. And you can't diminish it by pretending it doesn't exist. पिघले नीलम सा बहता ये समा नीली नीली सी खामोशियां ना कहीं है जमी ना कहीं आसमान.
Hello and welcome to Khaleej Times, Farhan. It's an absolute honor to have you with us today. You're
Thank you so much.
all, you're all set to perform live here in Dubai. So how do you feel about that? And what are your sort of nerves anticipating that performance?
No, I'm really excited about coming back to Dubai to play. It's been a while. We haven't played there since the pandemic happened. So really looking forward to it. Been constantly getting messages and like people saying, "Why aren't you coming back to Dubai to play?"
And it's the first time in Coca-Cola Arena as well. Did you like
It
do a
is, yes.
place?
No, I haven't. I guess we'll come there when we come and sound check and get our bearings right. But I have been to the Coca-Cola Arena before in the past. Just haven't been there as far as the Farhan Live.
Do you have like a ritual that you sort of perform before going on stage, like a pre going on stage kind of ritual?
To a certain extent, yes, I do. I have to go for at least a half an hour to 45-minute run before I start getting. It just kind of gets me in the mood, like the energy levels spike.
Okay.
So that's something that I do. I like. It's just I have to do. Before every kind of gig that I have. So that's something for sure.
Wow, okay. And also, like you've introduced this very unique blend of rock music infused with Bollywood songs. I feel it's almost created like a genre of its own. Like, can you tell us like how your interest in rock music started? If you kind of go back a little bit.
My interest for music. And I guess at that time it was a different kind of rock, but still rock. Was with the Beatles. That's how it began. And I absolutely am a huge fan of all four of them, of all the music, the albums that they made. And as I like kind of got older, then it graduated into listening to the more how would you say like the genuine rock bands, so to speak. Like the Led Zeppelins of the world and the Deep Purples, then the psychedelic rock, Pink Floyd, all that kind of stuff. So I've always really been into rock music. I love the sound of guitar. Like I just love the sound that, whether it's an electric or an acoustic, just it's very soothing to my ear. I love it. So that's something that I wanted to bring into the set that we were doing with Farhan Live, like to make it like a rock concert experience and
Yeah,
not the Bollywood show experience, so to speak.
correct.
And that's what we produced. So we produced all the songs according for
Yeah,
stage.
it's like two different worlds almost coming together, through you. That's what it feels like. But who do you sort of draw inspiration from now in terms of music? Like who are you listening to? Where do you get your creative juices flowing?
It's very difficult to be honest with you, Soumya, to keep up with all the music that's happening right now. I have fortunately my younger daughter is someone who keeps sharing her Spotify playlist with me, and I hear music on that. But please don't ask me to name anyone because it's very it's changing so quickly. Like the evolution of the number of artists that are constantly popping up on the scene, and it's great. It's a lot of diverse music that's happening,
Yeah.
and that's all nice. But it's difficult to kind of keep track, of which song was by who.
Yeah.
That's a little difficult to do. So, but I do listen
Yes,
to a
for
lot of
you.
music. But
It
my
could
my
be sort of
go-to,
like go back. Yeah. Go
yeah,
to.
my go-to still is like classic rock, are the classic bands. That's my go-to.
Okay. And you also like very interestingly proven your talent as an actor, director, singer. There's like this gamut of talent that is there and in
Thank
very
you.
different fields as well, right? So if you had to pick one, do you have a preference out of the three things that you love doing the most?
No, I don't actually. I don't. I absolutely love what I do. I'm very grateful to people, to the universe, that I have opportunities. I've had opportunities over the last 22 years to continue doing what I'm doing, to be challenged by scripts, to be challenged by filmmakers, to be able to write music, have people who believed in that music. So to me, I honestly, I just approach it with gratitude. That's all I do. But I love all of it. I mean, no matter what role I'm doing, in which film, what character I'm playing, somehow, and then the film releases, and of course, people have a reaction to that film. But even then, there is something so true. There is something so immediate, I guess, for the lack of another word, that happens when you're performing live. That feeling is difficult to like kind of compare anything else to.
Mhm.
So that to me has, I mean, it has a little place, a special place in my heart, performing live. That it does for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's what everybody missed in the pandemic as well, was that the
Oh, yeah,
real
it was horrible.
connection,
It was
right?
horrible. I mean, to not be able to perform, to not go see performances. I mean,
Mhm.
like, because it's as, I mean, a performance is as enjoyable for the people performing as it should be for the people who are watching it. Only then does it become memorable.
Yeah, no, for sure. And speaking of the many hats that you wear, you have recently announced this humongous project that has sort of like broken the internet, which is, like Dawn 3 sort of coming out, which is, started all
That's
sorts
right.
of debates online. It's almost been like 12 years, over 12 years now. What made you want
It's
to
been 12 years.
revisit, like, what made you want to revisit that world 12 years later?
No, it's something that's been brewing in my mind for a while. And but obviously, the desire, every time somebody asks me, actually pretty much since the end of Dawn 2, the question of when is Dawn 3 coming was, I mean, even if I didn't want to think about it, I was forced to think about it, to be honest. So somewhere in the back of my mind there was always a little kind of one little a pot kept on a little stove,
Mm.
like okay, if it had to happen, what could it be, what could it be? And then maybe just about maybe 2.5 years ago, there was an idea that felt like this could be the one. So I started working on it, and here we are today.
Yeah, and you started like this polarized reaction online with introducing Ranveer Singh as the new Dawn. And there's been all sorts of talks about that. There's a lot of pressure on him to, kind of fill in the big shoes of Shah Rukh Khan and Amitabh Bachchan. But how are you taking that in?
The thing is, I mean, he's a really, really good actor. I mean, he's proved himself to be a good actor. He's proved himself to be a versatile actor. So I'm not really worried, and he shouldn't be either, about what he's going to be like. He's going to give, without a shadow of a doubt, an absolutely slamming performance in the film. I
Mhm.
have no doubts in my mind about it. And it's but natural. I mean, I remember when we made the first Dawn in 2006. Everybody was telling us, "Oh my God, how can you touch Mr. Bachchan's Dawn, and why would you do that again?" And it's totally understandable. I mean, people have emotional connections to certain things, to
Of
certain films, to certain songs, to certain people. And you cannot deny that, and you can't diminish it by pretending it doesn't exist. So you have to respect it, and I absolutely respect everyone's feelings on this. The people who have been disappointed, I respect their feelings. The
course.
people who are excited, I respect their feelings. My focus really is to make a good film. That's what that's what I want to do. Is keep my energy and my time focused on that. And hopefully people will come in and love it like they loved the one in 2006.
For sure. And that was also my question. Like there's a lot of talk about how there's a pressure on Ranveer to perform in, similar capacities, but how much of the pressure is also on you because you are presenting to the audience something that, like is probably like hard for them to imagine right now. So how do you keep that aside as well?
Yeah, all I can say, maybe I'm a sucker for pain. I did it once before in 2006, and I felt like, oh my God, that feeling I wanted back. So I'm doing it again. But no, obviously, that's just a joke. But,
Yeah.
as a filmmaker, I have to stay focused on what I want to make.
Mhm.
There will obviously, like we just discussed in the previous answer, there will be feelings, and you have to appreciate, respect those feelings, but that cannot dictate what you're going to do next.
Of course.
I mean, and that's what I have to stay focused on.
Yeah. And now the $1 million question I have to ask you, who's going to be the Jungly Billy? We have heard nothing about that yet.
It all of it is work in progress. I've never been someone who keeps my cards so close to my chest. I'm happy to let everybody know what I'm
That
doing.
doesn't seem like it right now.
No, but I mean, there's nothing to say, So I mean, I don't want to like throw a name out there which isn't true. And similarly, like when I was asked about Dawn 3 for the longest time, I was like, when I'm ready, when I'm doing it, I will talk about it. There's no point of me lying about something,
Yeah.
or saying something so that the media picks it up and everyone has a field day with it. That's not fair. So I'll just won't say anything about this right now.
Okay, great. We're waiting for that. And another one of your much anticipated projects is Jile Zara with a stellar cast. You know, it's like sort of the biggest actresses in Bollywood coming together. What can you tell us about that? Like, you know, why did you want to do that?
Well, I mean, right now it's just I'm waiting for the dates to align. On that it's not been easy at all. So my focus is currently on Dawn 3 right now.
Okay.
Gile Zara will be picked up post that. So that's what I'm focused on. I'm focused on Dawn 3. I'm doing two films next year before I get into Dawn 3 as an actor. So in January, I start a film which is being produced by Amir Khan Productions.
Okay.
And it's being directed by Prasanna, who directed Shubh Mangal Savdhan. He's an absolutely wonderful guy and a great director. So we are working together doing a film called Champions, which will start in January. In July, I'll be doing a film produced by Excel, which I'll be acting in. And then post that film is when I get into directing Dawn 3.
Wow, I was just gonna say, you know, the fans of actor Farhan are also like eagerly awaiting to see you on the big screen. It's been a very long time now,
Yes, it
so
has. It has been.
yeah, very long. And so if I were to lastly ask you this question, you know, we're gonna be listening to you on loop now, leading up to your concert in Dubai, preparing, you know, all the playlists. What are you listening to currently on loop?
Currently, I'm actually at this moment absolutely tripping on soundtracks of films in terms of the
Okay.
background scores. So, like Hans Zimmer right now
Oh,
has kind of taken over my playlist for these last few weeks. I'm just listening to all his scores and just absolutely loving it.
is it because you watched Oppenheimer recently and that sent you back into the Christopher Nolan
No,
world?
not only that, I actually watched Hans Zimmer live in London at the O2.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
wow.
he played in July, so I watched him play live there, and I was just reminded of all the incredible soundtracks that he's done. So I just downloaded whatever I can, or streaming whatever I can, and just listening to it. And right now, it's kind of I'm fixated with that.
Yeah. Would you do you hope to create like something that strong as a background score even in Bollywood movies? Because I feel like that's something that's missing right now. In the sense
Honestly, Soumya, it's not. I mean, like if you, we don't have a market for people to listen to it, which is a different.
Mhm.
Because we have music, we have songs in our film. I mean, if I'm listening to the background score, say for example of Dune,
Mhm.
that that Hans Zimmer did. Dune doesn't have songs that I can listen to. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I can listen to the background score. We have songs in our film, so people tend to listen to music because you can sing along and it has a different
Correct.
experience altogether. But the scores of films that I've worked on, be it the soundtrack of Dil Chahta Hai or of
Oh,
Laksh or of
wonderful.
Dawn, of Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara or of Bhag Milka Bhag, they absolutely are stellar soundtracks, that deserve a place in the sun, of their own.
Off their
But I
own.
mean, there really isn't at the moment. There is no big market in terms of for people to listen to it, which is a reality which we also have to face up to.
That's very true. No, thank you for sharing that. Lastly, I want you to give a sneak peek of your performance to the fans here waiting. Would you be willing to sing something for us? Just so you know they can know what they're expecting when you come here.
Well, I think instead of singing now, maybe I can just share a poem, which also because poetry is also part of the experience that we do. So maybe I
Sure,
can share a poem, which is always nicer to hear, than someone singing without any accompaniment.
sure.
It might be nice.
Go ahead.
All right, so we could maybe do पिघले नीलम सा बहता ये समा नीली नीली सी खामोशियां ना कहीं है जमी ना कहीं आसमां सरसराती हुई टहनियां पत्तियां कह रही हैं कि बस एक तुम हो यहाँ बस मैं हूं मेरी सांसें हैं और मेरी धड़कनें ऐसी गहराइयां ऐसी तन्हाइयां और मैं सिर्फ मैं अपने होने पे मुझको यकीन आ
Wow. Oh my God. The fan of Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara poetry in me is like come alive.
गया.
Thank you so much, Farhan. We're looking
Thank
forward
you, Soumya. Very nice talking to you.